What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, something really interesting is happening right now, and I just wanted to share this perspective with you because it's kind of funny, it's kind of ironic, and it could be good or bad depending on how you look at it. So you can see here, I'm looking at the DEC supply as well as the DEC chart here, so just to give you a visual. And one very clear thing that has happened over the last 90 days is the amount of DEC getting burned has gone negative in many ways. We are adding DEC to the supply, and it's not through the SPS flywheel. It is through all of the cards being burned. And I think we're closing in on somewhere near like 2 million BCX that have been burned. Mostly, I believe, reward cards. Maybe there's some Gladius cards thrown in there, but I believe it's reward cards that are being tracked, and that's where we're seeing the anywhere between 1.5 to 2 million BCX. So you can see that the graph has jumped up significantly. And if you want to get more specific with the numbers, what you can see here is on the 30-day, we have not burned any, but actually minted 0.85, so almost 1 million over the past 30 days. You extend this out to 2 months, right? And we've burned 26 million, but keep in mind, our average run rate of what we were burning before was about 1 million a day. So this is about 34 million that we've added over the past 60 days, assuming we're still going at a burn of 1 million per day, right? That may or may not be happening now. You can see here that the burn here on the 1 day is 0.38 million, right? So we haven't quite got it over the past 24 hours up to that 1 million. But ultimately, you know, there's been a lot of cards that have been burned. Now, the question becomes, what are people doing with the DEC? My guess, and I could be totally wrong on this, but if it's true, it's kind of funny. It's kind of ironic because if people are burning the cards because there's no buyers out there and they just need DEC to buy Rebellion packs, of which we're still, you know, we're still chugging right along here. We're almost at 290,000 sold. That means that the old cards are being burned to create the new cards. And what's interesting about this is, you know, if you consider how many packs worth of DEC, 35 million DEC would be, right? I did the math earlier. It was like 8,700 packs. We'll just say like 9,000 packs. That's only like 45,000 cards, which is interesting to think about, right? It's about 45,000 cards that have been created or added into the mix because we've bought, you know, 9,000 packs. Each of those packs has 5,000 cards, for example. And what ends up happening is you've created, right, or minted 45,000 cards by burning 2 million that people didn't like. So we talk about like, oh, you know, burning cards for DEC or shrinking the supply or whatever the case is, you know, do a card burning event. We're kind of having an unofficial one right now. The problem is that most people don't have a ton of BCX that they're sitting on. And even with DEC being closer to peg, you know, people will look at a common card, for example, and like, should I burn that for 5 DEC? That's worth half a penny, right? Granted, if you list it on the market for a penny, which is what the going rate is, you're probably not going to sell it. There's just not many buyers out there. So we could get into an interesting situation if this continues to kind of increase in prevalence. And you can see here, you know, we were straight down and to the right. Obviously, these pop-ups were all of the end of season rewards that would get printed, which that's a whole other topic that we can cover. We have covered that many times, so I'm not going to dig into it. But you can see here, since then, right, since the last like big pop-up that we had, it hasn't been just straight down. It's kind of been much more of a steadied approach as we continue to burn more cards for DEC, right? And maybe another part of this is that maybe we're not burning as much DEC as we used to. Market activity is lower, although I've been tracking the volume the last couple of days. It's not like it's significantly lower across the board. So this is just something that's interesting to see for all the people out there who are like, oh, you know, we need to get rid of all the hardy stonefishes or whatever. Well, in a way, you know, that could be exactly what's happening. Now, hardy stonefish, keep in mind, let me clarify something here. Hardy stonefish was part of the Chaos Legion pack. So maybe people are looking at that and saying, well, somebody paid for those cards, right? Somebody paid for that pack, or maybe they received it in a reward. Whatever the case is, it's being used now, right? It's being used now to create new cards. I was primarily focusing on the reward cards because we've been tracking those numbers, And for the most part, right, everybody received those. Actually, I shouldn't say for the most part, but yes, somebody received those reward cards for free. And when I say free, they put effort into the game and we're playing. Now, the question that becomes is who's doing this? Who has the amount of DEC to be able to accomplish something like that? Well, obviously there's the bot farms that are sitting on a ton of reward cards. They're probably sitting on a ton of DEC, but even still, even if what ends up happening is we burn all of these old cards, so try to make Chaos as a set a little bit more scarce to pop up Rebellion, is that a bad thing? I don't know, right? I mean, somebody's got to do it. And if you're not bringing outside capital in, and I don't think most people are, then burning the old cards as a way to create the new one is just a different paradigm to view this whole this whole process with, right? And obviously we're sitting here not even 2 weeks into the pre-sale, right? So we're not even halfway into the pre-sale at this point, and we've already sold more than half. But my point is, this is going to be going on for an entire year. So, if land comes out, the Rebellion general sale, maybe Soul Keep, maybe some other, some guild action that I've been asking for, we've been hoping for a while. If all these things start to happen and there's these like ebbs and flows where, DEC gets closer to peg or whatever the case is, people may just continue burning a lot of these older cards if they have them, if they're sitting on them. And so, I'm glad that this is maybe just a one-time thing, because the upcoming, unlocking of the Soulbound reward cards will require, I'm sure, a significant amount of DEC over whatever the burn rate is. But it does make for an interesting kind of opportunity here. And I wonder, just presenting it in this way, do you take this as something positive potentially, or is it something that's a complete negative? Now, for an SPS maxi like me, so I'm not an SPS maxi, but I'm an SPS maxi in the sense that we need SPS to go up in order to save every other aspect of the game. So I hate the fact that DEC inflation is now coming from cards rather than SPS. We really need the SPS supply to go down and the SPS value to go up. From that perspective, it sucks, right? But maybe for others out there who are holding a lot of cards and like seeing the amount of cards being burned go up and up and up, maybe this could be presented as a good thing. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Just thought I'd share this perspective and get your feedback on it. But otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.